Hi, I'm Leslie Weiss for Bead and Button Magazine. In this video, we'll show you some of the basic jewelry making pliers and cutters available and explain what they're used for. There are a lot of different jewelry making tools available, but here are some of the basics. When you look for jewelry making pliers, you'll see there's quite a difference between these tools and those you'll find in a hardware store. Jewelry making tools are designed to help you bend and shape wire and metal without marring or marking the metal. So the jaws are smooth and regular instead of having little grooves in them. To make your tools even more gentle on metal, you can try coating them with tool magic, like this pair here. It adds a light cushion or coating to the jaws of the pliers, which will wear off gradually over time. Now there are a few basic tools that every jewelry maker should have on hand. For pliers, that means chain nose and round nose pliers. Chain nose pliers are used for bending, holding, and manipulating wire and metal. They have smooth, flat jaws that taper to a point. And you can find them in a range of shapes and sizes. We have a couple different sizes here, shorter pairs, longer pairs. Closely related to chain nose pliers are bent nose pliers, like these, which just have a bend to the jaws so that you can get into tight spaces. And flat nose pliers, which are very close, but they don't have the taper, and they tend to be very square as opposed to rounded like the chain nose. Round nose pliers are used for making loops and rounded bends in wire or metal, and those are also available in a couple different sizes and styles. Round nose pliers are used for making loops and rounded bends and have cone-shaped jaws that taper to a point. They also come in a range of sizes. Crimping pliers are used with tube crimps and flexible beading wire. There are a few different sizes and styles available. Regular crimping pliers are used with 2x2 millimeter crimps or 2x3 millimeter crimps, while these smaller micro crimper pliers are used with micro crimps, which are usually about 1x1 millimeter. You can find all sorts of specialty pliers, and these are just a few examples. These split ring pliers have a little tooth in the jaw which will sit between the two levels of the ring and hold it open while you slide in a loop or a charm. And it really saves your fingernails over time to have these if you work with a lot of split rings. Nylon jaw pliers have a layer of nylon over the jaws, which protects wire from marring or bumps as you're working with it. It can also be used for straightening wire. These odd-looking stepped and ring loop-forming pliers are used to make rings and loops. Specialty pliers aren't a necessity for most jewelry makers. But as you work more with wire and metal, you'll learn what you need and what helps you work better and more efficiently. You can also find many different types of cutters for jewelry making. Diagonal wire cutters are great for beaders who work a lot with flexible beading wire or work with finer gauges of metal wire. They're very inexpensive, but they leave a bevel or an angle at the end of a piece of wire. For working with heavier gauges of wire or for making cuts without a bevel, you'll want to use a higher grade of pliers. These basic flush cutters only leave a bevel on one side, leaving the other side smooth and straight. They're also nice because the pointed jaw allows you to get into tight spaces. You can even go further up the scale and buy ultra flush or double flush cutters, which eliminates the bevel on both sides of the cut and usually works better with thinner gauges of wire. If you work with heavier gauges of wire, you can try end cutters like these. This is a bevel end cutter, but there are flush end cutters available as well. Now these cutters work best with wire. If you work with metal, you want to check out a pair of metal shears or scissors like these. These work great for cutting small pieces of metal like solder pallets or bezel strips. And if you're going to be working on large pieces of metals, you're going to want to use a jeweler's saw. This U-shaped tool has a blade which fits into the handle, and then you just saw through the metal with a smooth motion, and you can cut it into just about any shape you want. Great new tools are always being developed, so keep your eyes open for new things that would work well for you.